If you're a Bruce Springsteen fan, you're probably a racist. At least that's what Barack Obama thinks. Barack and Bruce were being interviewed together on CBS the other day, and they both agreed that Bruce Springsteen fans are racist. Check this out.
In an ideal world, what Bruce and Clarence portrayed on stage was essentially a reconciliation, right?
Yeah.
And redemption.
That's right.
But most of your audiences were primarily white. And they can love Clarence when he's on stage, but if they ran into him in a bar, suddenly the N-word comes up.
Yeah.
And part of Bruce's music and part of my politics has been, no, you got to surface that stuff. You got to talk about it. Sunlight is the disinfectant, and if you talk about it, then you can reconcile in a true way, not in a phony way.
You got that, Springsteen fans? You loved Clarence on stage when he was playing that sax, but if you would have seen him at a bar, you would have naturally just started throwing the N-word around. You know, because you're white, and that means you're a racist. I played in a band that had 3 whites, 1 Hispanic, 1 black, 1 Native American, and 1 Japanese person in it. And 2 of those people were women. You know what brought us together? Music. We all enjoy playing music. Clarence and Bruce weren't doing anything other than that. It wasn't about portraying redemption or reconciliation. And I can guarantee you that Bruce never thought that his fans were or are a bunch of racists hurling the N-word at random black people they run into. What's more ridiculous about this nonsense coming from Obama is that this was him and his friends when he was graduating high school in 1979. That's the so-called chum gang. They had something that brought them together too: marijuana. I guess Obama was the Clarence of the chum gang. They all liked him when he was rolling fat joints, but when they saw him in class the next day, I'm sure the N-word would start coming out. Obama just can't help himself, and Bruce just has to go along because he suffers from white guilt. Obama was mostly raised by his white mother and grandparents, and as you saw in that picture, he hung out with a bunch of white guys in high school. He didn't see how valuable the color of his skin was until he went to college. What Obama described about Springsteen fans is something he's never experienced. So why does he assume that the boss's fans are all racist? He has to keep us divided. At the end of the clip, he says that the only way for true reconciliation between whites and blacks is for whites to let their racism surface so that we can really talk about it, and then we can reconcile in a true way. That's the former president saying that Springsteen fans are still racist today, and that most white people are racist today. And we need to admit it, or nothing will ever change. Of course, Barack lives in Martha's Vineyard now, which should be a very racist place because, all those white people live there. This interview took place because Bruce and Barack did a podcast together where they talked about race. And when Obama brought up the fact that Bruce had an integrated band because of Clarence, check out how Bruce reacts.
I think, why is it so hard to talk about race? Why am I pausing here?
Bruce didn't know what to say because he was talking about race with one of the biggest race hustlers that's ever lived. Then fast forward to the CBS interview, and Bruce is willing to agree that his fans are all racist. Do you all remember seeing headlines like these? Bruce Springsteen fan beat up after not recognizing Clarence Clemens and calling him the N-word. Or, the KKK throws a rally at a Bruce Springsteen concert. Or how about this one? Is Bruce really the boss, or is he the imperial wizard? Yeah, I don't remember seeing those headlines either, because I just made them up. In this interview, Obama is doing what he does best, further creating racial division for political and financial gain. This is a guy who was raised by whites, most of his friends are white, he's half white, and he lives in areas that are predominantly white. Now he wants to lecture us on what it's like to be a black guy in a room full of Bruce Springsteen fans? He really has no clue. He's a race hustler, plain and simple. And Springsteen's suffering from white guilt so badly that he agreed that all of his fans are racists who can't help but throw the N-word around when they see a black person. This would be hilarious if it wasn't so damaging to the country, and in particular to black people. Obama was president for 8 years and didn't do a thing to heal the racial divide or help the everyday black family. He further divided us, and he put more people on welfare. As long as we let the race hustlers influence our society, things will not only get worse between blacks and whites, things will get worse generally for everyone, and especially for black people. Because your suffering is necessary for the hustle to work. And that's the simple truth. Hey guys, thanks for watching. And if you all want to support this channel, check out the links in the description, and let's keep putting some common sense back into the great debate.